Hi, my name is Crystal Farley. I'm a stress management consultant. Growing up on Long Island, New York, it was me and my sister. My parents divorced when I was 13, and my mother turned to drugs. At the age of 17, when I was a senior in high school, my mother was a recovering heroin addict and decided to move to Florida. She took my sister with her, but I decided to stay in New York. I worked 3 jobs to support myself, living in a tiny basement studio apartment. I managed to gain a successful career as a retail store manager at the age of 19. That same year, I also got married. 6 years later, I found myself divorced, living in a different state and on my own again. I was sort of at a pivotal point in my life and made another decision sort of on the fly. I got married yet again a year later. That same year, I joined the Air Force Reserve Command. I was a 2T2 air transportation specialist. I went to basic training. My husband at the time went to the police academy. We barely had enough time to be married. I got back from basic training in tech school and got pregnant and had my little girl in July of the following year. When she turned 1, I decided to do a tour in Afghanistan. It was time for me to serve my country. Unfortunately, my marriage deteriorated during this time, and when I came back, I got my second divorce. I was running on treadmills and just crying. I was very sad and began a long journey of therapy and healing. In early 2018, after marrying my third husband, my last husband and most supportive person I've ever met in my life, I was diagnosed with PTSD. In September of last year, I launched a podcast called People, Trauma, and Stress Discussed with a dear friend of mine, Heather, who was also diagnosed with PTSD. A couple years ago. Since then, there's been a ton of outreach, organic growth, because of the topics that we discuss in the manner that we discuss them. It doesn't always have to be clinical, and it doesn't always have to be a doctor talking to you. Last year, I also started a side business. I took a few steps, started an LLC, named my business See Far Beyond the Box, did a little bit of personal coaching, and didn't really know what to do with it. But coming into 2019, I was 100% confident that stress management consulting was the right path for me. I couldn't be more passionate about it. So in January, I left the startup that I was working for, and I am working full force on my business, already have meetings scheduled and conferences to present at, and I am so excited. I work with people to identify stress levels in organizations and groups. Women in the Workplace initiatives, having come from the military and other male-dominated sales and tech cultures, I have a lot of experience there. And I've also spoken at Grace Hopper Celebration as well as other meetings facilitated worldwide. I've launched employee resource groups and worked with organizations to develop strategies to empower women in the workplace as well. And then finally, accountability coaching. And so again, I don't work individually. I do work solely with groups because I believe that there's power in numbers. But I'm really excited for 2019, and I look forward to telling my story over and over and over again, and empowering and advocating for people and women in the workplace to maximize potential around the world. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Bye.